In this auditorium, we ask you to take charge. We are depending on you. Holy Spirit, take charge. Give us wisdom. Give us understanding. Even as we listen to your word, as we dance, as we sing to praise you, as we sing to worship you, help us to do them in the fear of the Lord. You are the Spirit of truth. Help us so that whatever we do, we will do it in truth. Shade kabo lemade karade. Eba ba 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 ba. Ede mado satarabade. Ede de gado masatarabade. Ede de da 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 da. Manifest yourself, Holy Spirit. Manifest yourself in your wisdom. Manifest yourself in your understanding. Holy Spirit, strengthen us and empower us as we come before you. Yado kade, masadoro badadade, shenda dole de le ba 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 ba, shado kodo badada bade. Take control, Holy Spirit. Yena yada. Today, lead us to all truth. Today, teach us all truth. Today, give us understanding. Today, give us counsel. Today, yes, Holy Spirit, guide us and lead us. Shadow kapa. Yede da 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 da. Lebado do brade, lebado kodo kade krade, lebaba da 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 ba da da ba da, lebada da da ba de bado brade, yebede brade, lemado kodo kade, lebaba ba 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 ba, lemando do bodo bodo brade, lebede brade, yemado godo brade, yemado do da 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 de. Le baba de brade, le baba bodo kaba, shere de badada bade, le mamodo do brade, shere de da 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 da, le bede brade, le baba 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 de de, le baba 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 baba, le bado kodo krade, ye bada da 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 da, le bede de brade, shere de badada bade, le baba baba baba, le bado le krade. Shanto to Vradika, Le Baba de Brade, Le Mama Santo Toro Bade, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Beloved, I want to share this short story and then we'll pray our last prayer. So yesterday I came across the wristband on a football player that they have just won a trophy, and they had this Bible verse, Ephesians chapter 3, the verse 20. Ephesians 3, the verse 20. And I was curious. I wanted to know why he had that verse there. In fact, he had played a team for like 13 years. It's not a team that you expect to normally win a trophy. And then from nowhere, trophy comes. So after playing a team for 13 years, he's over 35 years. Probably he's thinking of retirement. He's not even thinking of anything trophy. And then from nowhere, trophy came. I don't know what you think it can never happen to you anymore. Probably you've got to some level, you look at your age, you look at your personality, and you said, this thing, it can never happen to me anymore. This thing, I can never have it. But we are praying. This is what the Bible says in Ephesians 3, the verse 20. It said, now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Amen. God is able to do exceedingly, even beyond what you think. You want to pray that God will manifest himself in your life in this way. You want to pray. Father, we pray that as your word says, that you are able to do exceedingly and abundantly, even beyond what we think. This morning as we pray, we commit ourselves into your hands. Father, manifest yourself in that way, that even the things that we think it can never happen to us, the things that we think we can never have them, and as your word says, that eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor has it even entered into the heart of men, what you are prepared to them that love you. We pray that you will manifest yourself. We are praying. Le gado do vrade, baba brade, le baba de badada bade, shando do kadara bade, le bede vrade, maso toro bade, le baba brade.
Amen. We want to enter into a time of worship, but before we do so, can we open our Bibles to read Psalm 136, verse 1 to 4? The word of the Lord says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods. His faithful love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His faithful love endures forever. And he alone does great things. His faithful love endures forever." When you continue to read, you will notice that after every submission that is being made, it ends with "His faithful love endures forever." It's because he is good and he is mighty. He does great wonders. He is wonderful. His reckless love continues to find us through every stage of our lives. He has protected us. He's guided us throughout this week. You want to open your mouth and bless the Lord for what he's been doing. His faithful love endures forever. He has found us worthy in everything we do. He continues to have mercy on us. You want to open your mouth and just bless the Lord. Pour your heart and cry your heart out to him. Lord, we bless your name. There is none like you, O Lord. Your faithful love endures forever. You continue to find me through everything I do. Your faithful love endures forever. You made the great light. Your faithful love endures forever. The sun and the moon and the stars belong to you. Your faithful love endures forever. With a strong and outstretched arm, your faithful love endures forever. You are worthy of our praise. You are worthy of our adoration. Glory, 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 glory to your name. We bless your name, O Lord. There is none like you. There is none like you. There is none like you. Glory to your name. Thank you, Jesus. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. I stand amazed in your presence. Oh, there is joy, peace, and hope. I stand amazed, I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing he cannot do. There is nothing you cannot do. I stand amazed, I stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you in all the earth, in all the earth. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. There's no one like you, Jesus, Jesus. There's no one like you, no one like you in all the earth. There's no one like you, Jesus, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things, you do mighty. You're a faithful God. Awesome is amazed in your presence. There is joy, there is peace, there is hope. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you. There's no one like you, Jesus, Jesus. There's no one like you in all the earth, in all the earth. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things, you do mighty things, you do glory. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name, awesome is your name. You do mighty things. Oh, you do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. You do mighty. You do glorious things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is his name. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. And why should I fear when I have you? I'm surrounded by your love, your everlasting love. So why should I fear what people say? They don't know what you mean to me. Why should I fear? Why should, when I have you, I'm surrounded by your love, surrounded by your everlasting love. And why should I fear what the people say? What people say? They don't know, they don't know what you mean. Sing, why should I fear? Why should I fear when I'm surrounded by your love, your everlasting love? And why should I fear? Why should I fear I'm surrounded by His love, His everlasting love. Why should I fear what people say, what people think? 'Cause they don't know what you mean to me. Oh, they don't know what you mean to me. Why should I fear? Why should I fear when I have you? We're surrounded by His love, His everlasting love. Why should I fear when they have never known? 'Cause they don't know what you mean to me. They don't know how you set me free, how you set me free. They don't know how you redeemed me, how you've redeemed me. They don't know what you mean to me, what you mean. They don't know what you mean, what you mean to me. They don't know. They've never known what you mean to me. They don't know how you set me free, how you set me free. They don't know what you mean to me. They don't know what you mean to me. They don't know how the King of Glory has redeemed me. They don't know what you mean to me. You have set me free. They have never known what you mean to me. The King of Glory has set me free. You have found me worthy. You are El Elyon, God Most High. You are Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon, God Most High. You are Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon, El Elyon, God Most High, God Most Jesus Christ. Call His name. You are El Elohim, El Elyon, El Elyon, God Most High, God Most High, Jesus Christ. Call His name. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon, God Most High, God Most High, Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. You are
Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon. God Most High. God Most High. Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon. El Elyon. God Most High. Jesus Christ. Cry on him. El Elyon, El Elyon. God Most High, God Most High. Jesus Christ. Call his name. You are El Elohim. El Elohim Israel. You are 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 El Elohim Israel. El Elohim Israel. You are El Elohim Israel. Cry on the Lord this morning. Give him the praise he deserves, the worship he deserves. Call his name, call his name, call his name. I am that I am. Agune Chemba, that's who you are. The lily of the valley, the lion of the tribe of Judah. Cry on him this morning. Clothe him, clothe him. He deserves our praise. He deserves our worship. How majestic he is. Cry on him, cry on him, cry on him. Adorn him with your worship. Adorn him with your praise. Adorn him with your worship. There is none like you, Jehovah. Great are you, great are you, great are you. Great are you, great are you, great are you. There is none like you, Jesus. There is none like you, Jesus. Receive our praise, receive our worship. Cry on him, cry on him, cry on him. The King of glory, the King of glory. There is none like you, there is none like you, there is none like you, there is none like you. I am that I am, El Elyon, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. El Elohim Israel. There is none like you. Yeah. Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeshua HaMashiach. El Elyon. God Most High. You are Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. So for thou, O Lord, are a shield from me. You are my glory, and you lift my head. We say, for thou, O Lord, are a shield for me. My glory and the lifter up of my head. For thou, O Lord, for thou, O Lord, are a shield for me. You are my glory, you are my glory, you are my glory. For thou, O Lord, you are a shield for me. For thou, O Lord, are a shield for me. You are my glory, you are my glory, the lifter up of my head. For thou, O Lord, for thou, O Lord, you are a shield, you're a shield for. You are my glory, thou, O Lord, are a shield for me. You are my glory, and the lifter up of my head. El Elyon, God Most High, you are Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. El Elyon, God Most High, you are Jesus Christ. You are El Elohim Israel. For thou, my Lord, is a shield for me. He is my glory and the lifter up of my head. He is my glory and the lifter up of my head. You are my glory and the lifter up of my head. Say, you are my glory and the lifter up of my head. For thou, O Lord, for thou, O Lord, are a shield for my glory and the lifter up of my head. You are my glory and the lifter up of my head. He is the glory and the lifter up of my head. My glory, the lifter up of my head. My glory and the lifter up of my head. King of glory, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts, the King of glory, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts, the King of glory, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh Sabaoth. Without the instruments, the Lord of hosts, cry his name, Yahweh, 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 Sabaoth. Yahweh, Yahweh. Oh, Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Yahweh. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Amen. You want to make a joyful noise to the Lord. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Yahweh, Sabaoth. Yahweh, Sabaoth. Amen. You want to briefly go around, say hi to someone. You want to give someone a high five, a handshake, a hug. You want to say good morning to someone. Amen. Hallelujah. Eh. Hallelujah. Oh. Hallelujah. It's the sound of victory. Hallelujah. Eh. Hallelujah. Oh. Let the sound of rejoicing fill this. Hallelujah. Eh. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh. Hallelujah. Eh. It's the sound of victory. Oh, hallelujah, eh. Hallelujah, oh, hallelujah. Let the sound of rejoicing fill this. He has made a way, he has made a way where there is no way. Hallelujah, eh. It's the sound of breakthrough. Hallelujah, eh. Hallelujah, oh. Let the sound of rejoicing fill this house. He has made a way where there was no way. Hallelujah, eh. It's the sound of breakthrough. Hallelujah, eh. Hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, oh. Let the sound of rejoicing fill this house. You want to put on your dancing shoes. Hey Yahweh, kumama. Kumama, hey Yahweh, 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 kumama. Minyame, obetumiayo. Minyame, kwayadeo. Obetumiayo. Kwayadeo. Obetumiayo. Kwayadeo. Minyame, obetumiayo. Why are
see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. So dance like a winner man. Oh. Dance like a winner man. Oh. Move like a winner man. Oh. Move like a winner man. Oh. So shake like a winner man. Oh. 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 When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. Oh. So dance like a winner man. Oh. Dance like a winner man. Oh. Move like a winner man. Oh. Shake like a winner man. Oh. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. To give you praise, oh God. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. To give you praise, oh God. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. You are good. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. Too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. I've got too many reasons to give you praise, oh God. You are good. I have a very big God, a very big God, oh. You know they call my hand, he's always on my side. A very big, I have a very big God, a very big God, oh. You know they call my hand, he's always on my side. And so see my God, see my life. That's also wonder. If you know my God, he's a miracle worker. He's an everyday miracle, everyday traveler. There's nothing no me from God. It's my God. He's a very big God. I have a very big God, a very big God. Oh, you know they know my heart. He's always on my side. A very big God. I have a very big God, a very big God. Oh, you know if I'm my hand, he's always on my side. A very big God. I seen I said it, well he not do. I seen I said it, well he not do it. He is God. I seen I said it, well he not do it. I seen I said it, well he not do it. I seen I said it, well he not do it. He is God. I seen I said it, well he not do it. I seen I said it, well he not do it. I seen I said it, well he not do it. He is God. Jesus is, Jesus I seen I said it, well he not do it. He is God. Jesus is, Jesus I seen I said it, well he not do it. He is God. I seen I said it, well he not do it. I seen I said it, well
will he not do it? Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Has he not said it? Will he not do it? Has he not said it? Will he not do it? Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Jesus is. Jesus God. Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Jesus is. Jesus God. Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Jesus is. Jesus God. Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Jesus is. Jesus God. Has he not said it? Will he not do it? He is God. Kadosh, Kadosh. Kadosh, Kadosh. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. The Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. For he alone is worthy of my praise. Kadosh, Kadosh. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Kadosh, Kadosh. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. He's the Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. He alone is worthy of my praise. He's the Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. For he alone is worthy of my praise. He's the Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. He alone is worthy of my praise. God who sits upon the throne. He alone is worthy of our praise. He's the Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. He alone is worthy of my praise.
Worship, worship.
The Lamb of God who sits upon the throne. He alone is worthy of my praise. Hallelujah. Amen.
Happy Sunday, church. Happy Sunday. And I also extend greetings from our head pastor. As you know, some of us know she's in the U.S. with a few family members. And by God's grace, everyone is doing well. And God shall bring them back safely. Amen. Amen. Also, we welcome back Pastor Tony from his travels. Pastor, you are welcome. Amen. Amen. So let's get into these few announcements for today. Amen. So first off, for all giving purposes,
please do not forget to indicate the purpose of giving, whether it be tithe or offering or whatever it may be. Amen. So we jump into the weekly activities. So due to tomorrow being a holiday, there will be no adult Bible studies tomorrow. Amen. Then we have a love for distribution, which takes place every Tuesday evening from 5 to 5:45 p.m. and every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 3:45. So please feel free to come by, pick up some food, or invite someone if you need. Amen.
Amen.
Then we have our weekly prayer meeting, which happens here at church premises every Friday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. Amen.
Amen.
We have the various child destiny ministry classes that have their class in the back during service. Amen. And right now we are observing our Sunday celebration assembly that goes from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we're also live on YouTube and Facebook. Amen. And we have our night watch prayer chain, which happens over Zoom every night for every Thursday and Saturday night, from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. So let's come and join in to pray for the nation. Amen.
Amen.
And Sunday mornings, we're extra blessed. We are here to pray before service. Amen. So from 9 to 10 a.m. we are here. So let us come and utilize this time. Amen. Then other announcements for the week. A quick announcement for the youth. Please, Pastor Tony wants to meet with all of us after service today. So let us be able to find him after service. Amen. And as we know, every Friday until the end of the year, we'll be fasting as a church. Amen. So please don't miss out. Include yourself and be included in this fasting. Amen. Then we have in July, we'll be blessed because we have Reverend Alexander Adams coming to visit us again. Amen. So the dates are posted July 4th to Sunday, July 6th. So please let us take note of these dates so we can come in our numbers. God bless you as you do so. And we also have a date for this year's FGC Kids Summer Camp. Amen. Amen. So it's here at church premises from Monday, July 7th to Friday, July 11th. The charges are $50 per child age 4 and above, and then 3 and below is free of charge. So we'll be here from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. throughout the week.
And Christ started
Then we have camp dates. Amen. So
almost started. Yeah, sure.
on the weekend of July 25th and July 27th.
Yeah, sure. Then double up on the kid.
And arrange your schedule and what venue, and the charges will be communicated as soon as possible. Amen. Then again, will be having baptism that will be taking place at camp as well. So please, if you would like to be baptized, please see Minister Appropriate Law after service today. Amen. And then birthdays this week. Wednesday, May 21st, we have the birthday of our own Minister Fojo. And then the Saturday, May 24th, we also have the birthday of Mr. Joseph Ba. Amen. So please let's be able to wish them on their special days. Amen. Thank you and have a beautiful rest of service.
Amen.
Amen.
Can we appreciate it, church? Hallelujah.
Amen.
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 Beloved, if there is one thing that I can guarantee you in the presence of God, is what? Liberty.
That's right.
Freedom. You want to explore that freedom.
That's right. That's
Explore
right.
the liberty.
Right.
By making some noise for the Most High God. You want to make some noise for the Most High God. It is free. So
That's
make
right.
use of it.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen.
So as our announcer rightly said, our head pastor, our mommy is not here, together with some family members. They are in the States. But our daddy is here. Let's give up our daddy. So on behalf of our mommy who is far away in the US, our daddy, our pastor, Pastor Anthony Barton, the church leaders, I would like to welcome all of us to this church service. If you're happy to be here, give it up for the Most High God. And on this welcome note, we would like to give special recognition to anybody here who is worshiping with us for the first time. So if there's somebody here that this is your first time that you're worshiping with us, we would like to give you special recognition, in fact, special acknowledgement. So let's give it up for them. As our sisters are up on their feet, let's give it up to them
Can we get microphone to them? So that we ask them, we don't ask them so many questions, we ask them their name, and then what them here. We know it's a Holy Spirit, I still want to take it from there. Amen.
Please, my name is Sylvia. I'm from Ghana. I fellowship at Fountain Gates in Ghana. And when I came here, I came to visit you.
Let's get up for our sister Sylvia.
And I'm Esther from Nigeria. We came in together through work permit. We are nurses. We'll be going to Calgary, let's say 2 weeks' time. I had to follow her to her church. She told me about our church, so I came with her.
Church, let's appreciate them, our sister Sylvia and our sister Esther. They are here to worship with us. Let us welcome them. Thank you, thank you. As many of the leaders, as many of us who can get close to them, just give them special welcome. As many of our leaders who are present, please, let's do this. Amen. So after church, one of our leaders will engage you in about 2 minutes chat. Very pleasant one, will enjoy it. Amen. Amen. Church, it's time for testimony, but I don't have any name for testimony. But then I'll give 3 to 5 minutes. If there's somebody here, you have a testimony, you forgot to give your name, but you still want to give us a testimony, you still have the floor to come and share with us what the Lord has done to lift a brother and a sister, to inspire a brother and a sister. So it's still time for testimony. Anybody at all? Amen. I believe we don't have any testimony in the house. So church, let's take notes of the following. Right after I leave this podium, the kids will be here, and our pastor, Pastor Anthony Kwati, we've missed him. He will help us to pray for the kids. Once we are done praying for the kids, our singers will come back and they will minister unto the Lord to prepare the way for the sermon. And when they are done, one of our own, our minister, Mrs. Grace Osei, is in the house. That's right. To prepare the sermon. That's right. God has a lot for us today. Just take and stay, don't move, and then make sure any of them you partake in them. Amen. So can we have the kids here? Ask Pastor Anthony Kwati lead us to pray for them. Let's have all the kids in church. And all of us, let's be on our feet. Amen.
Amen. I want all the parents and every single adult here to be part of this. Every parent will wish well for the kids. But as they are growing, we still depend on God and trust God for them to have a beautiful life. There's a singer of a church who happened to be a pastor, a daughter of a pastor, is going viral of some kind of bad things happen to the kids. I don't know whatever happened, some videos, and I felt so bad and how they are escalating the story around. Yesterday I called my kids and I spoke to them that the devil is not happy about us. You have to be very careful the steps you make in life, the friends you take, and whatever you are doing. The moment they get hold of you, they will deal with you, and if you don't take care, you will never be in yourself for the rest of your life. And I want us today to pray for these kids. We can't do anything without God. The God factor can never be taken out of our life. One thing I can assure you is that this is how we started. Young like this, they took us to church. Our parents left us somewhere, and we paddled along. And this is how far today the Lord has brought us. So with this, I can surely testify. And then my verse for today is Isaiah chapter 46, verses 4. And I read, I will be your God throughout your lifetime, until your hair is white with age. I made you. I will care for you. I will carry you along and save you. And today, if I see gray hair, when I look inside the mirror and I see gray hair, I said, Lord, you have been faithful. I started this journey with you without this gray hair. And you have sustained my life. And this is what we wish for our kids. that may God and say, I am your Lord. I made you. I will sustain you until your head is aged with gray, and I will save you. And I want you to pray for these kids. That the wish of every parent, that these ones will not stumble in life. These ones will not mess up. These ones will not be vagabonds. These ones will not be exposed. These ones will not miss life. Their life will not be in shambles. But he said, I shall walk with you, be your God, sustain you until you age with gray. And Father, I pray in the name of Jesus, we play allegiance and presented this one to this altar, that be their God in life. Deal with them well in life. Let life be fair with these ones. As they go to school, be with them in their academics. Be with them as they hit youth. Be with them as they get their partners. Be with them as they marry. Be with them as they begin to have kids. Be with them as they begin to have grandchildren. Be with them. Sustain them. Let sickness be far from them. May this one not be disabled. May this one not be going to calamities. May this one not be vagabonds. May this one not be wanderers. May the society never eject these ones. And may they not be taken away from us. But let God deploy an angel assigned. Let their guardian angels be on guard in absence of the parents. Father, be their God. The food they eat, sanctify it. Whatever they drink, sanctify it. Even when the devil make a mistake and present an evil thing to them, let the blood of Jesus cover them, Father, and be their God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Amen.
Today, our song says that the Lord is the way, the truth, and the life. Amen.
Yeshua, ya, ya. Yeshua, ya, ya. Ay, 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 ay. Yeshua, ya, ya. Yeshua, ya, ya. Ay, 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 ay. Yeshua, ya, ya. Yeshua, ya, ya. Ay, 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 ay. Yeshua, ya, ya. Yeshua, ya, ya. Ay, 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 ay. Yeshua, ya, ya. There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you.
You are the way, the truth, the life. No other God but you. No other God but you.
You are the way, the truth, the life. There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you. You are the way, the truth, the life. There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you. You are the way, the truth, the life. No other God but you. There's no other God but you.
Power, yours is the glory forever. Amen.
Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yes, you are, yes, you are. Yeshua, 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 the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yeshua, 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 you are the way, the truth, the life. No other God but you. There's no other God but you. You are the way, the truth, the life. No other God but you. There's no other God but you. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Hello, Michael.
You are the way, the truth, the life.
There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you. You are the way, the truth, the life. There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Yeshua, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You are the way, the truth, the life. There's no other God but you. There's no other God but you. You are the way, the truth, the life. No other God but you. No other God but you.
Hallelujah. Can you please stand on our feet even as we say a word of prayer? Father, you are the way, you are the truth, and you are the life. You are Yeshua. There is no other God like you. This morning we are gathered here in your name, in your presence, on your altar. We bring our sacrifice of praise. Father, we pray that your spirit will dwell amongst us. I pray that, Lord, even as the word comes, O Lord, Father, I surrender and I submit myself as a conduit of your presence. Let it fall on fertile grounds. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Please be seated. Amen. Oh, say to your neighbor, you look wonderful this morning. Say to the other neighbor, have you seen how I look today? And then say to the other neighbor, it's not about my outward appearance, it's about the God in me. Amen. I want to thank the head pastor, the mother of this house, Reverend Florence Obey, for giving me this opportunity. I would also like to thank our papa. We love you. Pastor Tony, my bestie, thank you. And to all the wonderful people here, all protocol observed. Amen. So today's subject is a subject that I'm very excited to be sharing. It is reaching the unreached. When I was told that I would be standing here leading, I went into prayer with the topic, reaching the unreached. And the Holy Spirit started to downpour so much in me. So in preparing for this word,
it was more like witnessing to my spirit also first. Because there's so many things that have been highlighted here that I realized that I also needed to get in line with. Amen. So can we start with the verse? Matthew 28. My message is really from verse 19, but we'll start from the 18 to tie it all together to 20. Matthew 28 from verse 18 to 20. Can someone please help me read?
Matthew 28, 18 to 20. And Jesus came and spoke to them.
Sorry,
saying,
can we have the New King James Version, please? Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody. Okay, yes, that's it. Sorry. Please go on.
And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Amen.
Amen. The word therefore there, in the English language, the word therefore is what we call a conjunctive adverb, which means because of, for this reason. And I'll give you an example. If I say the water is boiling, therefore it's hot. So conjunctive adverb. Because the water is boiling, it's hot. So in verse 18, from verse 18, he says, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. And then he continues to say, go, therefore. So because he has all the authority in heaven and on earth, he now says we should what? Go. So that word therefore is saying, I have the power, I have the mandate to send you because I have all authority. And then he says what? Go. The word go there implies what? Intentionality. Go is an action word. It doesn't mean sit and wait for them to come to you and then tell them about me. He said, go. Go. The Christian walk is not a passive one. It is a sent life. Say it is a sent life. Amen. And then he said, make disciples of what? All nations. Make disciples of all nations. He didn't say make church members. He didn't say make converts. He didn't say make attendees, make Christians. He said make disciples. The word disciples means to learn, to follow, and imitate Jesus. So someone who is a disciple is constantly learning the things of God. Constantly learning the things of God. The person who is a disciple is constantly following Jesus because he leads the way. The disciple is constantly following Jesus. The disciple also imitates Jesus because we want to look more like him and less like ourselves, less like the world. Amen. He says, make disciples. So the goal here is what? Spiritual transformation. Spiritual transformation. Not just converts. You know how you see someone and all you're talking to them about, come to my church. You know, he says disciples. So it's deeper than that. And then it goes on to say, of all the nations. All the nations. Which means not just Ghanaians, not just Nigerians, not just Liberians, not just Canadians, but all the nations, all ethnic groups. So the next time someone asks you, oh, what church do you go to? Fountain Gate Chapel. And then they say, oh, is it a Ghanaian church? Is it a Nigerian church? Is it a white church? No, it's the Church of Christ. is the church of Christ. We are to go to all the nations, not to be segregated to the people we know, to the familiar people. We are to go to all the nations. Amen. He says, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Baptism is death to self, death to the old life, and resurrection in Christ. So baptism for the disciple is not optional. It's not optional. Baptism is necessary. It is part of the disciple life. Amen. So God has given us this mandate. He said, because I have all the authority, I am sending you to make disciples, not just of your tribe, not just of your family members, but of all nations. And I'm also telling you to what? Baptize them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And then he goes on to say, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded. Discipleship is obedience. Now, the word observe there is not like just to look. No, it means to practice. Teaching them to practice. Teaching them to what? Practice. That, he said, all things that I have commanded. So you are teaching these disciples to practice all, not some. Not some. Not some. I've heard people say, oh, I believe in God, but I can't wait till marriage before I have my children. But I'm a Christian, I believe in God. God doesn't judge. Why are you judging? He says all things. What has God commanded concerning that subject? Some people say I'm a Christian, but it's just a little white lie. Here, there, I can lie. Oh, I'm a Christian, but I can just deceive this person to get what I want. It's okay. And then we have people co-signing such doctrines and practices in the body of Christ. But this is not what God has commanded us to do. He said we are to teach them to observe, which means they should practice all things that he has commanded. And lo, now this is the place of hope. He says, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Even to the end of the age. He's saying this because he knows there will be trials in between. He knows there will be moments where we probably feel we're not sure what the results will come. But he's saying, I am with you. Your thing is just to what? Go. Your thing is to what? Go. I am with you. I am the one who has given you this mandate. I am the one who will make it come to pass. In Jesus' name. Now, I want to give us a story of a man in the Bible whose life reflects this scripture, reaching the unreached. Sorry. Ooh, my throat is dry. So, there was a man in the Bible called Saul, Saul of Tarsus. Now, Saul was born in Tarsus. Saul was a Pharisee, very notorious for persecuting Christians. Now, he did it with so much confidence, so much conviction, and so much zest. There was nothing you could tell Saul to convince him that what he was doing was wrong. He walked in the discipleship of Judaism, which meant that whatever Christianity was teaching was dangerous and against the rules and laws of the Jews. So this Saul of Tarsus was trained by a man called Gamaliel. Now, Gamaliel was a very high-ranking teacher of Judaism, teacher of the law of Israel. He was a Pharisee. High-ranking, not just your usual teacher. He was what we call the creme de la creme, the upper echelon of the teachers, of the Pharisees. Now, so much so that Gamaliel, you know how in the Israel, in those days, they called teachers rabbi. But Gamaliel was such an oga, like the Nigerians would say. Oga at the top. He was bossu, like Ghanaians would say. That he was not referred to as rabbi, he was Rabban. So Rabban was a term that was saved for revered teachers of Judaism. Now this Gamaliel man was so important and so up there, so knowledgeable, that the word Rabban was saved for him. Now, somewhere in the book of Acts, chapter 5, the Bible gives a glimpse to his character. Acts chapter 5, verse 38 and 39. The disciples, Peter and the rest of the disciples, were serious about what the charge that God gave them: go and make disciples. So they were preaching the word of God, and there was a sect of Sadducees that were angry and against them, and they wanted to kill them. In those days, they called it blasphemous, and they will stone you to death. So this Gamaliel, Rabban Gamaliel, he spoke, 38 and 39. He spoke, and the Bible in this text gives us a glimpse of the type of personality this man was. So can we please read that? 38 and 39.
Acts 5, 38 to 39. And now I say to you, keep away from these men and let them alone. For if this plan or this work is of men, it will come to nothing. But if it is of God, you cannot overthrow it, lest you even be found to fight against God. Amen.
Amen. So from this text, we see that Gamaliel was a man of wisdom. He was a man of intent. He spoke with intention. He didn't speak out of emotions. He looked at the situation and he saw, these people, we want to stone them, yes. But if it is of God, you cannot overthrow right? And they will be found even like you are fighting against God. And you might even create a bigger problem. So the Bible says this man has wisdom. The Bible did not say Gamaliel, because he was not a believer, was a bad person. He looks like he was a good man. He looks like someone that people would want to emulate, someone that people would want to follow. Can you imagine someone like that being your teacher? Of course, you would want to impress him. You wouldn't want his efforts to go in vain, right? So Saul of Tarsus was educated by this man, sat under the feet of this man. But one thing is, even though Gamaliel was a good man, like many of us are, the ticket to heaven is not good deeds. Amen. The ticket to heaven is not good deeds. So Saul was a disciple of Judaism. He was a learner, a follower, and he imitated what Judaism stood for. Okay? Saul was so radical that he was the one who sanctioned the death of Stephen. They actually, when they stoned Stephen, who became a martyr is someone who dies because of his faith. He was bold in the face of death. Stephen stood and he still proclaimed the name of God. He started from the beginning and he explained down. And the Bible says the crowd was angered and they stoned him. And even whilst they were stoning him, the heavens opened and he saw and he had a vision. And he even said it more, and it even made them more angry. They stoned him, and it was at Saul's feet that they brought Stephen's clothes. That's how notorious this man was. Saul, someone who we might say is dangerous, is a lost cause. Some time ago, I was watching a documentary of the most tattooed man in Brazil years ago. And this man looked so scary. He had tattoos all over his eyeball, his whole body. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a lost cause. My God, he looks so scary. And the documentary was saying that when he walks around, people turn, and they were asking him how he feels about it. And he says he's used to getting their attention. But guess what? Just recently, that man has now given his life to Christ. Someone who I refer to as a lost cause in my ignorance. Because the thing with God is, he reaches the unreached. And he has given us that mandate as disciples of him to what? Okay, we're going to make this a little bit interactive, okay, and participate, okay? He has given us the mandate to what? So this guy that I was sitting somewhere in Medina, Okanse Road, watching GTV and judging, is now on the streets, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. He has had some laser removal of his tattoos, and it was so many. He had tattooed over 90-something% of his body. So even though he's going through the process, he still looks a little, bruised. But he is still going. And like Saul, the one who was the one who killed a disciple of Jesus Christ, Philip, now had an encounter on his way to Damascus. Now, Saul was very serious about this thing he was doing. The problem with some of us Christians is we are not serious enough. We are not serious enough. Saul was serious. He went and took letters from all authorities that needed to be taken from, and he prepared for this trip to Damascus. He was on his way to wipe out all these blasphemous people calling themselves followers of Christ. That is not what the law of Moses had taught. That is not what we know. That is not what Rabban Gamaliel, this esteemed man, taught me. These people are dangerous, so we are going to get rid of them. So Saul embarked on this trip to Damascus. And something happened. On his way to Damascus, he saw a bright light from heaven. And the Bible says, immediately. Someone say immediately. Not with hesitation. He didn't stop to observe the light. Is it a light? Is it not a light? Because you see, the thing about the presence of God, he says, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So when the presence of Jesus comes, every knee will bow immediately. Immediately, whether or not you know who he is, whether or not you understand his ways, whether or not you understand what the purpose of your life is, whether or not you understand why the light is there, every knee will bow immediately. And Saul fell immediately. And he said, Saul, Jesus said, why dost thou persecute me? And Saul said, Lord. How did he know that he was Lord? How did he know that he was Lord? Every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that what? Jesus Christ is Lord. He said, Lord, who are you? Who? He said, I am he who you persecute. Why kick against the gods? Now the gods here is not G-O-D, it's G-O-A-D-S. Gods is a type of thing, object, that they used back in the day to, control the cattle. And the way this thing is shaped, it has like a sharp edge at the metal edge at the tip. So kicking against it is like kicking against a metal edge. Kicking against the gods here, he's saying to him, why are you fighting against what has already been finished? Why are you fighting against what has already been established? Why? Because in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, he said, the Lamb was slain before the foundations of the earth. Before you, Saul, were formed, before Rabban Gamaliel was formed, the Lamb was already slain. So there is nothing you can do. Kicking against the gods means you are fighting a losing battle. That's right. Even before Abraham was, I am. Why kick against the gods? Why kick against the gods? Hallelujah. Amen. So, now when you go to Acts chapter 9, you can read on your own, so you can write that down. The encounter of Saul of Tarsus on the way to Damascus. You can read in depth. Now, this encounter left Saul blinded. The Bible says he was blind for 3 days without eating or drinking. Now, I'm looking at this, and it reminds me somewhat of the story of the woman at the well. Because when Jesus came and he sat at the well and he met this woman, he promised to give her what? Eternal life, basically. He was going to give her water that would never run dry, to draw from a well that would never run dry. And then when she agreed to receive it, he now said to her, but bring your husband. And she said, oh, I don't have a husband. And he said, yes, because you have 4 husbands. We know the story. Now, the essence of that was, before the transformation happens, the light, when the light comes, the light exposes. So Saul of Tarsus was exposed in that moment to the darkness that he was walking in. He was seeing physically the darkness he was walking in. And in my opinion, I also look at it on a different way. I think that Saul being blind and having to be led by someone to show the way, metaphorically, was him having a clear vision of what the rest of his life with Christ would be. Because he who must follow Christ must what? Be led. He must show the way. So Saul in that moment was blind, and he had to depend on someone to hold his hand and show him the way. Because a life with Christ is a life of being led. It's a life where you have to put your hands in his hand and he will show you the way. So in that moment, there were so many things happening to the destiny of Saul. He was physically seeing what darkness felt like, and he was also physically seeing what the rest of his life, depending on a higher power, will be. It is Christ who has the sight. It is Christ who has the sight. In the name of Jesus. Now, Saul was instructed to go to a man named Ananias. Ironically, Ananias was one of the people that he had come to kill. Ananias was afraid. I would be afraid that when God told me, Jesus, are you sure? I know this guy. Are you sure it's the right one? But yes, we have been sent not in comfortable spaces. We have been sent to people who are murderers. We have been sent to people who are thieves. We have been sent to people who have raped people that we love. We have been sent to people who are addicts. We have been sent to people who look dangerous. But because he said there in his word that, behold, I am with you even to the end of time. So even though the situation may seem dangerous, he's with us. And that is the assurance. That is the assurance. Now, Ananias laid hands on Saul and baptized him in the Holy Spirit. So we see baptism comes again. He laid hands on Saul. He was instructed, in spite of his fear, in spite of what he knew about this dangerous guy, he laid hands on him and baptized him in the Spirit. And the Bible says, after Paul's conversion, Saul immediately started preaching the gospel that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. Amen. Amen. Now, we all know that Saul's name was changed to Paul. But this did not happen immediately. This did not happen immediately. And when I was studying that, it took me back to, I think, the book of Matthew, where Jesus had asked Simon, "Who do you say I am?" And then Simon said, "I say you are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus replied to him and said, "Flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." And he says, "Behold, I have given you the authority." I'm paraphrasing. And the church will be built on your name, and the gates of hell will not prevail. And he says, "I've given you authority over heaven and earth. Whatever you bound and loose will be bound and loosed." He gave him authority. So after Paul, sorry, I'm having brain freeze right now. No, not Simon. After Simon followed Jesus, in following Jesus, he had what? A revelation of who Jesus was. And after having that revelation, Jesus now gave him a new identity and now gave him purpose, and within that purpose gave him authority. So now the same thing is mirrored here with Saul of Tarsus. When Saul had the encounter at Damascus, when he had the encounter with Jesus Christ, Saul now had to what? Follow Jesus. In following Jesus, Saul was given a revelation of who he was. And now God now gave him a new identity and purpose. So we will go to Acts chapter 13, 2 to 3. Acts 13, 2 to 3. Yes.
Acts 13, 2 to 3. And they ministered to the Lord and fasted. The Holy Spirit said, Now separate to me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them. Then, having fasted and prayed and laid hands on them, they sent them away. Amen.
You realize here he's still referred to as Saul. But now in the same Acts chapter 13, verse 9. Can we read verse 9?
Then Saul, who also is called Paul, filled with the Holy Spirit, looked intently at him.
Now, from Saul to Paul. When he was filled with the Holy Spirit, he went about doing the works of God. God gave him a new identity. He was no longer Saul of Tarsus, the one who persecuted the Christians. He was now Paul, the apostle of Jesus Christ, making disciples of men. Now you see, when God, I don't know if you remember your Damascus experience. I don't know if any of you remember that moment when you turned to Christ, when you saw the light of Christ. You see, I will give you my personal story. I was born into a Christian home, like we all say, Christian by birth. There's no such thing. And I went to church for majority of my life, singing in the choir, being the little girl who sang and wowed the audience, being the little girl who was always at the forefront of activities. We prayed morning devotion in my house, and we did so many things the Christ way. But there was a time that I got to experience Christ for myself. There was a period in my life where I had strayed from the straight and narrow path. Yes, I was still checking the box of Christian. I was still excited to go to church. I was still able to speak in tongues. But I was not a disciple of Jesus Christ. I was not a disciple of Jesus Christ. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, sitting on the slab in my driveway in my house when I opened the gates for my parents. I had been going through depression and I had been going through addiction for so many years, smoking cigarettes, packs after packs a day, several packs a day, wanting to stop but didn't have the willpower to stop, crying, finding peace in other relationships, tying myself to people because I was looking for some type of love, some type of satisfaction that nobody could give me. So it was from one to the other and the next, making friends that were not anointed to be my friends, keeping company that was not Christ-like. And I was walking not on the straight and narrow path, but on that day, I sat on the slab of my driveway after I opened the gate for my parents. They had come from a church program. Both my parents are pastors, and they did a lot of church things. They came from a church program, and I really enjoyed it when they left the house because now I could freely smoke. If I wanted to smoke in the front, I could do it. If I wanted to go to the back, I can do it. If I wanted to go by the doghouse and smoke, I could do it, but I couldn't do it in front of them. And the matter of fact, I was still doing it in the house when they are sleeping. I learned to put the thing under the door to stuff towels and stuff, and then open my window at night, sometimes 3 a.m., stick my head out and be smoking. Depressed. But this day, I sat on that slab, tears running down. I just looked and I said, God, help. My parents went inside and they left me there. And I was so, God, is this going to be my life, really? Help! And I heard immediately this song that I had listened to growing up by Shirley Caesar. It says, you may be down and feel like God has somehow forgotten, that you are faced with circumstances that you can't get through. And right now it seems like there's no way out. You're going under. But God's proving time and time again, He'll take care of you. And He'll do it again. He'll do it again. Just take a look at where you are now and where you've been. Hasn't He always come through for you? He's the same now as then. You may not know how, you may not know when, but He'll do it again. God knows the things that you're going through. He knows how you are hurting. And He understands just how your heart has been broken in two. See, He's the God of the sun, of the stars, and the seas. He is your Father. He will calm the storms, and He'll find a way to take care of you. And He'll do it again. Oh yes, He'll do it again. Just take a look at where you are now and where you've been. Hasn't He always come through for you? He's the same now as then. You may not know how, you may not know when, but He'll do it again. And when I heard that song in my spirit, for some reason I knew that God has just spoken to me, and I just wiped my tears. I felt okay. I went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, it was service. It was a weekday. We had a visiting pastor. Now I went to church with expectation. I went with expectation. When I went, I wanted to know, God, you have said so much to me, but I want to know today, what is the way you want me to go? Now, I was doing secular music. I knew there was a torment in my spirit about it. I knew that God had called me for a higher calling, but I was so afraid because I knew the responsibility of Christianity was more than I could ever take. I wanted to be shallow. When I went to church that day, I went to the front and I said a word. I kept looking at that man of God. He preached. And he was about to close. Stood up to share the grace, and I remember feeling so disappointed. God, you didn't answer me. And right before they shared the grace, he turned. He said, you come. And I came running. He said, what do you do? I said, I sing. He said, do you sing or you minister? And I said, both. He said, kneel down. Took a bottle of oil and poured. He said, I anoint you a minister of the gospel. Now from that day to now, I have never picked up another cigarette. There was a transformative power of God that happened in that moment in my life. I never picked up another cigarette. Now, when I came in the front and knelt down and that oil was poured on my head, it was not poured so I can sing songs to excite people in church. It was not poured so that I can sing songs to have compliments that, oh, your voice is nice. It was not poured so that I can have programs and fly over the world and be popular. It was poured so that I make disciples of men, teaching them the ways of the Lord, teaching them to observe the ways of the Lord. That is why that bottle was poured on my head. Now I ask you, when was your transformative day? When was that moment? When was that moment in your life? Reflect on it. When was that moment? It was bigger than you. If your expectation of being a Christian is self-centered, then you are in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place. Hallelujah. Now Saul turned Paul. He traveled through the nations. He went to Asia. He went to Macedonia. He went to Greece. He went to Syria. He went to Cyprus. He went to Rome. Paul planted churches. He mentored leaders like Timothy, like Titus. He wrote letters to churches, encouraging them in their faith. He wrote letters to the church of Corinth, to the church of Ephesus, to the church of Galatia, to the church of Philippi, to the church of Rome, and many others, encouraging them to hold on in their faith. We are here this morning, and we come to church. Some religiously never miss a Sunday service. Can I have this? We come, we go through the motions of speaking in tongues, of singing praises, singing along to the worship leaders, of dancing to the beat, of giving, and then we leave the same. We come to church. There are people here who don't speak to each other, but they tick the Christian box. There are people here who are still living in sin because a gospel has been preached to make people feel good. To make people feel, oh, I know how people always say, God is love. So she doesn't sound like she's speaking from a place of love. It's too harsh. God is love. And that's just where it begins and where it ends. But what we don't understand is love is all encompassing. Because God is love, he chastises. Because God is love, he rebukes. Now, those who are mothers, you love your children so much that if they went and you put the fire on and they just wanted to put their little fingers in the fire, you love them. Why would you scream? You love them, right? Don't scream. Let them put their hands in the fire because you're a loving mother. If you scream, that's abuse. Why are you screaming? Why are you taking their hands from the fire? Why are you rushing to go and get them? Why are you not, and why are you monitoring them to make sure that they don't do it again? You love them. So if God is love, why then are we not allowed to do whatever? That which hurts our soul, that which hurts others. That is not love. Today I want to encourage all of us. We have a mandate. We have a mandate to make disciples of men. To make disciples of men. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to participate in this and do a very important exercise. But I have 4 questions of reflection for you today. Can I please have keys, Jeffrey? Thank you. I have 4 questions of reflection. And if you can, please write it down. And I want you to not just write for writing's sake, but I pray that the Holy Spirit would come alive in you and give you a deep understanding of this. Number 1, are you making disciples or just attending church? Are you making disciples or just attending church? Are you making disciples or just attending church? Back home at the traffic lights, there's so many activities that happen. You see people who are selling all kinds of things. But then even in the midst of that, there are hungry people and there are beggars. There are people who just want, something to eat. Sometimes they even beg for water. And a man of God, this missionary from the United States, he's a Caucasian man. He came to my church and he said to us, when I come, I put food and water in my car. So when I drive and I see these people begging, sometimes it's not about money. He gives them food. He gives them water. He gives them food. He gives them water. I've heard time and time again, this part of the world, you cannot just approach someone and start talking about Jesus. Well, let me tell you this. Philip was praying and God sent him to an Ethiopian man somewhere he had never met, he never knew of. You don't just go, because you go when God sent you. And how does he send you? Philip was in a place of prayer. He was yielded. He was living a life of discipleship. So he was available to go. If you don't know how to go, this is how to go. Go on your knees. Start there. Ask him, what do you want of me? It is not just about walking around and just start talking to people. My husband and I are planning a program. We're working on something for later on in this year. And it's this mandate that the Holy Spirit has given us is so huge. And we don't even know where to start from. So whilst I was in the States, one day I was just, meditating on this. Like, God, we need this, we need that. Not saying it verbally, but just thinking, Lord, help. Just quietly pondering on it. And I heard a name, loud and clear. I heard a name, Samuel Osei. And I was like, I don't know any Samuel Osei. I ignored it. I heard the name again. So I take my phone and I Google. The first name that popped up was an Instagram account. Now I opened that account and that person was exactly what we need. I don't know him from anywhere. I've never heard of him. And I reached out and I said, I didn't even know where to start, because who told you about me? Who are you? And I said, my husband and I are doing XYZ, and I don't know, where do you live? And he said, I live in Texas, USA. And I'm thinking, that's so far from Canada. He said, but by God's grace, I can travel anywhere. And you know what? I really don't charge for God's work. God gave me his name in the place of meditation. God can give you a name. He can give you a person. He can give you a direction. He can send you to places you have never been. But because you are praying so much for money, praying so much for material things, praying so much for earthly possessions, you have missed the mark. We are to make disciples of men. Of course, he wants us to prosper, but first, our souls must prosper. And our prosperity is not to show off. Our prosperity is to make disciples of men. Ask him. Number 2, who are you teaching or mentoring in the faith? Who are you teaching or mentoring in the faith? Now you might say, how can I even teach or mentor when I don't even know? I don't know the Bible. When I read, I don't understand it. Me too. There was a time, some time back, even the simplest scripture I would read, what used to happen to me was, even when I was in sin, every morning when I wake up, there's a scripture. And all the scriptures that the Holy Spirit was giving me was, turn away from sin. Turn away from this. You have been called to a higher calling. Those were all the scriptures. And I would open the Bible and read, and I wouldn't understand. So I would go to my pastor and say, and when I woke up, this scripture was in my head, but I don't understand. She was just saying, but this is self-explanatory. You know why I couldn't understand? There was a block. There was a block. Keep reading. Keep pressing in. Keep depending on God. Keep depending on the Holy Spirit. Start from the place of unknown. See, the reason why God gave me that person's name was because I didn't know where to start. If I had known, I probably would not have spent time in meditation. So that's a good place to start, from the unknown. Number 3, have you gone to your neighbor, your family, or the nations? Your workplace. Everybody loves you there because everything goes with you. You don't stand up for your faith. You agree to everything. You agree to all religions. They all lead to God. So everybody loves you. Everybody did not love Jesus. Everybody did not love Stephen. Everybody did not love Peter. Everybody did not love Saul of Tarsus, who became Paul. Now, number 4. Do you trust Jesus' presence, especially when the mission is hard? Do you trust Jesus' presence? Do you trust Jesus' presence? I don't want us to leave here today like another Sunday. Came to church and I left. I want this word to grip your heart. I want this word to stir your spirit. I want you at least to start asking questions. Ask Jesus questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why is this difficult for me? Why am I struggling with this? What have you called me to do? What do I need to do? Father, less of me and more of you. Say it, even if you don't mean it. Keep saying it till it makes sense. Now we're going to do an exercise. I want us to practice on each other. You're going to tell somebody about Jesus today. Now, I don't want you to tell your wife, your brother, your friend. Please, let's stand up and let's pick somebody we have never spoken to. Practice on them. Tell them about Jesus. Before you speak, he said, the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in us to quicken our mortal bodies. If the Spirit of God is in you, he will speak to you. So listen to what God is saying about that person. Can we have silence, please? Have we picked our people? Have we picked our people? Kabasata badiande de besekete bediando. Kosaka tabada basianda dabaka. Kebebebe santa dianda dabaka. I want you to hold both hands of that person, face to face. Face to face. Manama seke de bekianda dabaka sata badiande de beke. Cap Chris, can you please get on your feet? Pick somebody. Please, Grace, can you please let's participate in this? Pick somebody. Pick somebody. Now can we start to speak in the language of the Spirit? Let's just do this for a few minutes before we start telling them about Christ. Can we speak in the language of the Spirit? If you don't speak in the language, just speak in understanding. Let's go. Talk to somebody about Jesus. Now tell them about Jesus. Tell them what Jesus is saying about them. Tell them what he's saying to you about them. Talk. What a wonderful thing you are doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. By your favor and love you are moving, and it's marvelous in our eyes. What a wonderful thing you are doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. By your favor and love you are moving, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah, What a wonderful thing you are doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. By your favor and love, you are moving, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Now you can go to someone else if you're finished with that person. At least two people. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. 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 It says, I have the blueprints for you. Turn away from the things that satisfy your flesh. I have the blueprints for you. I have the ability to order your steps. There is no other power that can accurately order your steps. Money will never satisfy. There is a purpose on your life. You are not ordinary. You are extraordinary. My spirit lives in you. I stand at the door and knock. Hear my voice. Hear my voice. Open up. There is a deeper calling. There is a deeper way. There is a communion I want to have with you. I am the one who knows the way concerning your life. Nothing else will satisfy. Nothing else you search for with your eyes will see. I am the one who has the blueprint concerning your life. I am the one who will lead you to the paths of righteousness. But open up your heart. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. I stand and I knock. I love you. I stand and I knock. I love you. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. I hear the little whispers of prayers that you give to me. Oh child, there is no prayer that you can pray that I, God, do not already know. But open up your heart. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. I knock the door. Open up your heart. Do not wait any longer. Tomorrow is not promised. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. I am the way. Open up your heart. I am the truth. Open up your heart. I knock. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. I knock. I knock. I knock. I knock. I knock. I knock. Open. 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 My child, do you not see? Nothing else can satisfy. Open. 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 Hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah. what a wonderful thing you are doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. By your favor and love, you are moving, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Now, before I go, does anyone want to share something someone told them that is profound? Does anyone want to share? Does anyone want to share something someone told them that is profound? Okay, Joy, you can come. If no one wants to share, that means we did not gain anything from the exercise. So please, someone has to share.
I think someone told you that God loves you and He cares about you, even though that whatever I do in the church, He'll love me and care for me. Amen.
God loves you and cares for you in spite of you. Kofi, see, out of the mouths of babes. Amen.
That we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves, because we can't see God, so we should love our neighbors.
And wow. Anyone else? Jadida, I love that the children are taking this so seriously.
God loves you so much that He gave you free will, that's choice, so you can make your own choices.
Amen.
I'm grateful that God died for us and He sent His one Son.
Ellison, hallelujah. Eli, come. I know you raised your hands. Marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah.
You know you have different plans. God has better plans for you.
Amen. Come.
Someone told me that whatever I want to be, God said it will come to pass.
Anyone else?
Someone told me that even though that even though if you think that God is not working or listening to you, God can always help you, and you have to listen whenever He says something to you.
Amen. Anyone else? Marvelous
What I wanted to hear, I heard it today, that keep on persevering, that God has me, and I'm appreciative for that.
Do we have room for two more at least? Marvelous in our eyes.
Amen. What I would like to say is that anything that you are struggling with, for it being a sin or addiction, you can't stop it. Present it to Jesus and He will help you. Amen.
One more. It is more.
Amen. What someone told me is that even in my dark times, God is always there for us. He is always listening to us. Amen.
Okay, just the two of you, then we move on. Come. Marvelous in our eyes.
God is so good because He lets me eat every day.
Hallelujah.
Someone told me that I'm going to become a great person.
Amen. So now can we just thank God for the word? It is marvelous in our eyes. Tell Him thank you for your word, Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Tell Him where you are struggling. Tell Him you are open, you are a willing vessel. Oh, hallelujah. It is marvelous in our eyes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It is marvelous in our
Amen. Church, can we give a better one? Very powerful message. What are we saying to our minister? God bless you, minister. We thank God for your life. We thank God for the anointing on your life. Amen. It's time for tithe and offering. And I'll invite Pastor Anthony Kwachi to help us. So if you have your tithe, prepare your tithe and the offering as Pastor takes over. Amen.
Oh, what do we say to our minister? God richly bless you. That is a very powerful message. When you go home, go back to the church page and listen again. Amen. There are more for you personally to review yourself with the message. I love personal, practical messages. It tells us that whatever you are going through, God is possible to see you through. Amen. If you have your tithe with you, I want you to confidently walk in front here. It is a blessing to pay tithe. It means the Lord gave you money. The Lord gave you work. And God bless you with the substance. And out of the substance, you came and you obey the word of God to come. Anytime I see people paying tithe, I'm so happy. Some of us have struggled this. We pay tithe in pain. We pay tithe in pain because the money was not enough. But we never left it there. Now we pay tithe with joy because now the Lord is speaking. It is working. And I know that all of us will get to a point that when we are coming to pay tithe, we will come and smile with confidence. And the church is understanding the tithe. I want all of us to be upstanding. If you are sitting on your seat, please be upstanding. I want you to stretch forth your hands on these precious ones. That may the Lord keep on smiling to us. May the Lord still keep on increasing us. May the Lord still keep on blessing us, promoting us, giving us positions, giving us new avenues, giving us the job of our heart. Open your mouth and pray. Open your mouth and pray. And if you're also standing here, keep on thanking the Lord that this money you have in your hand will not be the same. As the year goes by, there shall be increase. Open your mouth and pray. Rabala belebebe, rakabala baba, ranti belebebe, kamala bebe, shantele bebe, rebaba baba, lebrande lebe, shandele bebe. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I stand here as the pastor with joy to see our members understanding the secret of tithing. I'm happy to see people coming boldly with confidence to present their 1/10. The Bible says, test me with this. If I, your Lord, will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing unto you, that we may not have room to store your blessing. I pray in the name of Jesus that in this part of the world, we just go out and work with our hands, and money is paid unto us. And today we have come before you to present our 1/10. And Father, my prayer is that let there be relevance. When your people bring their 1/10, let the heavens open. Let the dew of heaven fall upon them. May they never stretch. In difficult moments, let this altar speak for them. That none of us will lose our job. None of us will die before our time. I pray that, Father, let there be an abundance whereby we go, we pay the 1/10, we spend some for our expenses, and we save some. Give us the grace to save 30% of our income, half of our income. That, Father, all the money will not be a paycheck to paycheck. You say, I shall amplify your effort, meaning the little we do, you make it big. Sustain the work of our hands. Give us positions. Because of us, may our company never run bankrupt. Let them have more contracts, and let them give us more time and more hours. And Father, may our rates be increased in the name of Jesus. And Father, any demon that is against us, any assignment of the devil against us with the work of our hand, we will rebuke the devourer in the name of Jesus. At our workplace, there will not be contentions. People will not contend with our positions. People will not snitch against us. But Father, let this altar speak for us. Let us have more than enough, abundance and overflow. And Father, we will stretch forth to help others. I pray and I bless you, and all of us will say amen.
Amen.
We look for an envelope. The Bible says, don't come before me with an empty hands. A free will offering. Pick an envelope anywhere and pray. Father, I pray we committing our offering before you. Let it be a seed. And Father, let it bear fruit in season and out of season. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Can I have a music?
There is only one name. There is only one name with power to save. With power to save. There is only one name. There is only one name with power to save. With power to save. Our God is champion. He reigns forevermore. Forevermore. Our God is champion. He reigns
Oh, amen. Oh, amen. Turn to your neighbor and tell him or her that you are blessed. And say, our minister Grace, we thank you and God bless you too. Tell her that. Amen. You want to be outstanding. We are closing the service. I want you to pray and commit yourself. First of all, I want us to pray for our mommy and the daughters that have gone to the States. We pray for traveling mercies as they are returning back tomorrow. You want to pray for our mommy and the children. Open your mouth and pray for them. Kabala Baba. Lebe. Go before them like a lightning. I pray, give them traveling mercies. Because of them, let all their transit points be secured by the blood of Jesus. Take over and go before them like a lightning. Bring them back tomorrow safely. You want to commit yourself before the Lord this week, that your going shall be preserved and your coming shall be preserved. There shall not be any disaster. There shall not be any calamity. We go to our workplace, we shall be secured. Recently, I went to site and one of my colleagues got burnt, first degree, second degree burn, and he's at the hospital right now. I want you to open your mouth and just say a prayer for him, that may God give him a speedy recovery. Commit yourself, commit anybody who is sick here, and commit them that could not come to church. Those who are at work now at work, may God protect them and secure them. Any pregnant woman here, may the power of the Holy Ghost protect them that are believing God for a miracle. Pray that may God blow their mind. God blow their mind. Pray. I want you to just lift your right hand up and put your left hand on your chest as I pray. Today's message is a very powerful message. Some of us are still going through tough moments of our life. We come here with a smiling face, but inwardly things are not right. Some of us are struggling with addiction. I've been saying Christianity is a process. The Lord is still working and dealing with some of us still. I just believe that God can do something for you. And I pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for the word that has been sent to us today. The Bible said the word will not return void unto you, but until it has accomplished a purpose. Let that word be settled in our heart. Let our heart receive that word in Jesus' name. I pray that anybody here who is still going through tough moment in life, finding it difficult, going through and struggling with addiction in any form, I pray in the name of Jesus that let the power of the Holy Ghost come through. Let the power of the Holy Ghost set us loose. The Bible says, when the Son of God set you free, then you are freely indeed. Let there be that freedom. Let there be that liberty in the name of Jesus. I pray that, Father, as we are reaching the unreached, let our life be light. Any darkness part of our life, may it be taken over by the light of God. I pray in the name of Jesus that, Father, Christ is saving us and we are being saved through the blood of Jesus. That anybody under the sound of my voice who is going through any tough time, we talk about Christianity, we talk about the love of God, it seems different to you. May the Holy Ghost encounter you in Jesus' name. I pray that may God preserve our life. Any assignment of the devil concerning our life, our husband, our children, we come against it. Let there be an open doors, opportunities. I pray that anybody here who is still struggling to find job, let God open that avenue onto your life in the name of Jesus. Let there be a shift. Let there be changes. Our life cannot be like this, paycheck to paycheck. We refuse it in Jesus' name. That, Father, put a smile. The expectation of the righteous cannot be cut short. Let God blow our mind. When we move to the left, let us encounter a miracle. When we move to the right, let us encounter a miracle. Any prophetic word upon our life, I pray that let it be potent. This week, may we encounter a miracle and give our testimonies that we will come back and kill. I dispatch your people under the covenant of Jesus. As we are stepping out, we step into our victory. And Father, we will come and we will say, the Lord has dealt with us wondrously. I commit thy servant, our minister, of which you use her and her life to speak unto us. Let there be abundance. I pray that let there be an increase upon her life. That anytime she stands out to speak out unto us, the lifestyle, the power will impart her, and she will have more to speak. Any virtue that has left her, let God empower and protect and secure her in the name of Jesus. And all of us will say, Amen. Can we share the grace? May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Surely the Lord's goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. This is our time of prophetic and supernatural jubilee. The explosion of righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost is tangible. Settlement is our possession, is enforced. Saviors are emerged on Mount Zion. We are satisfied because the kingdom is the Lord's. We do all things, say all things, and have all things to the glory of the Lord. Amen. Turn to your neighbor and say, expect a miracle. And go out and win a soul for Christ. You go out and win a soul. Go out and win a soul for Christ. Amen.